Good afternoon, everybody, on Instagram and also on YouTube. It's the best show ever here. Ricky Batalico, Tyrone Johnson. We're live on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, 2 to 6 Eastern, Monday through Friday, and also on NBC Sports Philadelphia. A lot to talk about today. I guess got to start with the passing of Gene Hackman for a couple of reasons, because he's had a great career, but if you're a certain age or if you love sports movies, you have to kind of be a fan of Gene Hackman.
Yeah, you do. The first thing that comes up is him coaching in The Replacements for me.
For you, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, the guy could do it all. He actually played a really good coach on that. I know the movie wasn't the greatest in the world, but I mean,
it was fun.
Yeah, it was a fun movie to watch, but he kind of came across like a real coach. So he did. He could play his part, that's for sure.
Yeah, and obviously, for many people, the one that won the Oscar and was so big was Hoosiers, a basketball movie. Many people think at least best basketball movie of all time, if not the best sports movie, period. I know that'll be our question of the day for those watching it live, and I know Hoosiers is going to get some votes. My issue with it is that team, my high school team, would have smoked that team.
They were not good. They were not good. Jimmy was the only one.
Come on, Jimmy was carrying that squad. And then he was a jerk to Jimmy like the whole movie.
Yep.
But Hoosiers is an all-time great movie, and it's a legendary movie in that way. So it's just sad when legends go, because what I've noticed is we don't replace legends. What I mean is it's not like Gene Hackman passes away and there's some legend that can step right into that. That takes time, and it's just challenging. It is.
It's it's sad. I mean, he was 95 years old, but I mean, when we think of him as in his movies.
Right.
And you think of him in Hoosiers, he's probably 60 years old in Hoosiers.
Well, but he was 50-something.
50-something. I mean, when you think about it, he was all fired up. He was that coach that actually everybody would kind of love to have when you think about it. But in that movie, I mean, the one thing that was impressive about that movie, not only is he playing a coach, but he's also kind of playing a caregiver to the assistant coach there that had the alcohol problem, and it's a love story on top of it. I mean, it was a little bit of everything mixed into that one. Gene Hackman, he's just one of those guys. Lex Luthor was another movie that
great.
He was great. Unbelievable.
He's had a great career. He's
one of those guys that for everybody, some other movie will pop up in your mind. It's not just one movie that pops into your mind when you think about it.
Yeah, he's an all-time great. So rest in peace to Gene Hackman. Then yesterday, a younger actress, I know some people knew her from Harriet the Spy.
Eurotrip.
Some people knew her from Eurotrip. Some people knew her from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That Michelle Trachtenberg passed away. Apparently, less than a year ago, she had a liver transplant, and apparently it didn't take. And
that's awful.
And people now are coming out. They kept her secret. She was pretty quiet about it. But apparently, she there were people who spoke to her at the end, and she kind of knew what was coming. Unfortunately,
that's pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
Only 39.
39 years old. That's young.
Yeah.
And it was odd because yesterday I was on the phone going back to my place, and you talk to a couple people, and did you know that so and so died? They're like, wait a minute. Is that Gossip Girl? I'm like, yeah, I guess. I don't know all the things she's been in. I just know who she is, and I know she was an actress, and it's just sad. I mean, when people pass that early, they still have a lot of life in front of them too, and it's a tragedy. There's no doubt about it.
You know what I think is so sad? What adds to it is, but it's a lesson we can learn is that tomorrow's not promised.
No, never.
It's not promised, and I know sometimes that's just a cliche. And when things happen in your personal life, you recognize it. But we can sometimes use stuff from people we didn't know personally to kind of learn that lesson that nothing's promised. And that's serious stuff.
It is serious stuff. And I mean, we hear about different things every single day, people passing away. And I think for you and I mean, with like Gene Hackman, we've seen so much of his stuff that he's almost like part of the family type thing. Yeah. And you know what? When you start seeing a lot of them go at the same time, I think it kind of compounds everything, and you just don't feel real secure after hearing about it.
Now, speaking of that, there is that superstition that celebrities unfortunately pass in threes. So we had Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yep.
We then have Gene Hackman, and now we're not celebrities. If you were a celebrity right now, like Hollywood celebrity, would you be concerned that you could be number three?
I got to tell you something. I believe there was a third. They're an old-time movie guy. I don't think he measures up.
It doesn't count.
But yeah, I might be a little concerned because they do happen. That's how they happen in threes. I mean,
there was an episode of 30 Rock before where Tracy Morgan's character and all that. And then Jimmy Fallon came out, and I think Jimmy Fallon tried to kill Tracy because
he didn't want it.
Yes.
Betty White too.
Yeah, Betty White too. Yeah, Betty White. Because they didn't want to be the third.
Yeah, because it happens. It happens to me every time I see like a baseball player pass away, and then another one does. It's like, uh-oh.
Are you gonna be?
Oh no! I gotta watch my step today. I'm not leaving the house today. I'm gonna sit right here all day long. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna turn on the MLB network and wait. Is that terrible?
Well, things happen. Here's the thing. If we're being honest, right? All of us have a start date, and all of us have an end date. Right. We just don't know what it is. So it all obviously we started serious. This is tongue in cheek, but you did play professional baseball, and you were an all-star. Yep. Therefore, if that were to happen, in theory, if you were the third, people would go, "Oh, there it is!" Like it would register.
There's that third one.
Wow.
Picked him right off his couch watching this.
Yeah, okay. Remember the baseball player in New York? What was his name that was driving the plane that unfortunately hit the building?
Corey Lytle.
Right. Well, here's the crazy part. I found this out just this past week, and then we'll move on.
I believe there is 3 of those, by the way.
Yeah, there were. But here was the thing. The apartment that he ended up unfortunately hitting,
yes,
the woman wasn't home. So they repaired it, and they gave her a place. Like she owned it, but she ended up getting a place on a different floor. And then something else happened, like 1 year later to the day, and she passed away in that apartment. So it was almost like a Final Destination type of thing, where
she was supposed to be there.
Yeah, supposed to be there. She dodged it, but it didn't dodge. Like those are crazy stories. In sports, we now have the NFL Draft Combine going on, and today, if you're watching this video on the 27th on Thursday, if you're live, is the defensive lineman and the linebacker.
Yep.
This is the Eagles' day. If you look at the depth chart, while offensive line will absolutely be something they address, they don't have that many needs. Even if they let Becton go, Steen would start.
The needs will be on the defensive side.
You're probably going to lose both Sweat and Milton Williams.
Yep.
Therefore, the defensive tackle, defensive end may end up being now we just saw corner when those were the needs just last year. I would not be shocked if you see tackle end or end tackle as the first 2 spots in this year's draft.
This is Howie.
Right. So if you're a combine viewer, you're talking about, why do you care about that? It's not really about what you learn with it, but I can tell you what, when Davis ran at his size of 4'8", 40, that was a big reason why they drafted, because they look at that. If you see a guy out there, and they're picking 32nd, so it might be a guy who's in the second round now that rises up to the first round, third round guy. It also could be a guy who they think is really good. Maybe he doesn't have great workouts, and they get lucky and he falls to them. You got to watch that today.
I think that would be the greatest thing that could happen to the Eagles if a couple guys fall or teams go, instead of going defensively, they go offensively.
Like last year.
And then boom, all of a sudden, a guy you thought might have been at 20 is now 2 picks away from you, and you're thinking, hey, we got a shot here.
Yeah, so that's definitely something to watch, because you know how Howie is. So that's today, and then obviously you have the D-backs, and then the next few days. But they've been there, they've gotten their medicals. Abdul Carter, who's probably going to be the first pick of the draft, they found out it was just a stress reaction with his foot. He admitted that he tried to have as much fun this past year as his last year as an Eagles fan before he gets drafted.
Yep.
I never want guys to fall, but I did allow part of me to think, like, if that foot medical comes up funny and he's there at 15, is how we go up and grab him, the best player in the draft, because that dude's a monster.
He really might. He's not afraid.
Well, the thing is,
that's a big, but that's also a huge jump.
32 to 15 would be, but he's going to go first now, because the foot was fine. It wasn't even a stress fracture.
He's good.
Only a stress reaction. He's still going to do his full pro day. That dude's a monster. So, but watch the defensive linemen, both the tackles and the ends coming up on the combine. That's going to be big coming up for sure. Also, another thing, They did the NFLPA thing as far as like the report.
Yep.
Things.
Wow. Yeah.
Are you surprised that they still put Eagles players in the coach-size seats on the plane?
Yeah, I look, when I was playing baseball, we used to take a regular jet. Like we would get a 737. Wasn't really modified, but we would, in Major League Baseball, you either get a first class seat or 1.5 regular seats.
Right.
So you couldn't have 3 people in one row. It was 2 people in a row, or you get the whole row to yourself.
Plus, you guys only had 20-some guys.
Well, we probably had about 60 people on
You could
a
spread
plane
out on a full plane.
that seats
couple hundred.
I mean, so it was. We had enough room. But you're talking about football players. These guys are
They
big.
stuffed Jordan Mailata into a coach seat.
These guys are huge. Jordan Mailata can have him.
Lane Johnson.
Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter.
They're all in
These guys
regular
are not.
seats.
I mean, have you seen the size of Saquon Barkley's legs? He can't sit in a coach seat.
Listen,
No.
we're happy about the Super Bowl, but hey, Jeff, it's kind of ghetto that you got.
Get yourself an eagle with wings, pal.
Come on, buddy. All right, that is our time. We do this each and every Thursday around 1:25, obviously also on YouTube as well. Make sure you tune into the best show ever, 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching our YouTube. If you want to help us out, go ahead and like and subscribe for us. If you liked what you saw, go right over here to our playlists and pick out whatever you want to watch.